Coming up on American Top 40, the 7th hit record by the singer-songwriter who named himself after a dog to save his real name to use when he became successful.
American Top 40.
It sounds like a group is doing the vocal on this next song, but it's just one man, a young man, 22, who calls himself Lobo. In Spanish, Lobo means wolf. Here's his song, Me and You and a Dog Named Boo.
Me and you and a dog named
Up 14 points this week, Lobo, Me and You and a Dog Named Boo.
Casey's Coast to Coast.
Now on American Top 40, the latest hit by the singer-composer who wrote the well-known commercial for Total Cereal, the one that goes, "Today is the first day of the rest of your life." And when he wrote it, he had himself in mind as a singer who should actually do the commercial. But the advertising agency didn't agree. They felt that his voice wasn't strong enough. So they bought his composition and hired Cashman and West, whose American City Suite is now in the 40, to do the singing. So this artist has to console himself with his current top 10 pop single, the smash that moves to number 3 this week, a song that he sings himself, I'd Love You to Want Me. Here's the man who calls himself Lobo.
When I saw you standing there.
There's the third best-selling song in the USA this week. It's by Lobo from Florida, I'd Love You to Want Me.
Casey's Coast to Coast.
Fourth consecutive week with I Can See Clearly Now. You know, the AT40 staff here plays a predicting game now and then when we try to pick the number one song for the following week. And I think it'll be fun if we make our predictions on the show. So, starting right now, here's the consensus of the staff of American Top 40. There are several contenders for the number one spot next week. It could be Lobo with I'd Love You to Want Me. It could be the Spinners with I'll Be Around, or Helen Reddy with I Am Woman, or maybe the Temptations with Papa Was a Rolling Stone. We are predicting the number one song for next week will be I'd Love You to Want Me by Lobo. We'll see. You just heard the 40 biggest selling hits in America for the past week in American Top 40. My name's Casey Kasem. We do our count.
American Top 40.
We're heading toward number one, a position that we predicted last week would be occupied by Lobo's I'd Love You to Want Me. Well, at number 4 this week is Lobo's I'd Love You to Want Me. After 2 weeks at number 2, Lobo drops to number 4. So our prediction was wrong. Lobo, I'd Love You to Want Me.
The hits from coast to coast. Number 33.
His real name is Kent LaVoie, and he was born in Tallahassee, Florida. He's had a couple of top 10 records. This is his new one. At number 33, that's Lobo, and Don't Expect Me to Be Your Friend. 32 hits to number 1, and we're counting down.
The hits from coast to coast.
About 6 months ago, when this next singer's last hit was on the charts, I told you the story of the Florida singer-songwriter who played in bars 6 nights a week to pay his way through St. Petersburg Junior College. His real name is Kent LaVoie, and what he wanted then was an education, not a career in music. But the money and the glory were enough to turn his head away from the academic life, with plenty of encouragement by record producer Phil Gernhardt. But it wasn't any easy deal. You see, for 5 straight years, the two of them worked at making records, and finally, in 1971, they got their first hit. What a hit it was. Me and You and a Dog Named Boo, remember? Well, their latest came into the 40 last week and moves up to number 29 now. It sure took a long, long time. That's the name of Lobo's record.
Took a long, long time.
That moved from number 36 when it debuted last week to 29 this week. Lobo from Tallahassee, Florida with It Sure Took a Long, Long Time.
Casey's Coast to Coast. Number 27.
At number 27, the latest hit by the singer-songwriter who used a made-up name on his first commercial recordings because he didn't figure he'd have a hit right off the bat. And he didn't want his real name, Kent LaVoie, to be identified with a non-hit record. So he named himself after a dog that was the father of his own pet, the German Shepherd that he sang about in his first single release, a song that hit number 5 in the charts 2 years ago. Remember Me and You and a Dog Named Boo? Well, the name of Boo's father, at least part of his name, was Wolf. So Kent LaVoie just translated that into Spanish and called himself, temporarily, he thought, Lobo. But that first record was a big hit, and he was stuck with the name. Just like he's stuck with his 7th hit record. It's number 27 this week. How Can I Tell Her? Third week on American Top 40, moving up a couple of notches to number 27. That's Lobo with How Can I Tell Her?
The hits from coast to coast.
You're listening to the 40 top tunes in the 50 states. I'm Casey Kasem, and the countdown doesn't stop until we get to number 1.
Number 28.
Here's a recording star who went through bands with colorful names like The Rumours, The Sugar Beats, and Me and the Other Guys. That's before he went solo. This week, Lobo moves up 3 notches to number 28 with another hit, Where Were You When I Was Falling in Love? 5th week on the chart, now at number 28. That's Lobo and Where Were You When I Was Falling in Love?
Casey's Coast to Coast.